This is Al Claiborne. Today is June 17th, 2026. I would like to take a few minutes today to remember my great friend, Alan Willyerd, who passed away peacefully at his home in Brownsville, Tennessee on June 13th. Though we both grew up in Brownsville, Alan was 6 years older, and he moved away in 1970. In fact, it was only in 2012 that I learned who Alan was through a comment he had posted on the virtual wall page for my cousin, Marine First Lieutenant Norman Lane. Dated January the 9th, 2005, Alan wrote, "Norman and I grew up together in Brownsville, Tennessee, and served together in Vietnam with Kilo Company, 3rd Battalion, 4th Marines. On Thanksgiving Day 1967, I had a platoon-sized patrol into the DMZ. At about 1000 hours, we ran into 3 women and 1 man, called for choppers to come get them and take them into Dong Ha. The choppers got there at about 1600 hours, and it was late when we got back to GLN. All the hot chow from Dong Ha was gone, the only hot meal that I was promised the whole time that I was there. But Norman showed up with a can of turkey out of sea rations and leftover cranberry sauce. He said, 'I wanted you to have as good a meal today as we had.' So long ago, so far away, but it seems like only yesterday. You are with me every day. From a friend and brother in arms, Alan Willyerd." Alan and I met in Brownsville in 2014 and began a 12-year friendship that led to my 2023 biography of Lieutenant Lane, as well as a lot of good times and good conversations. I was with Alan in October 2016 when he visited the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington for the first time. There, he and Norman Lane were reunited on a beautiful fall afternoon, almost 49 years after they had first set foot in Vietnam.
Originally from Brownsville, Tennessee, Alan Willyerd knew our classmate Norman Lane quite well since Norman spent summers in that town visiting his grandparents. However, it would be a few years later they served in the same battalion in South Vietnam, 3rd Battalion, 4th Marines, then situated near GLN. In a letter to a fellow high school student, Norman mentioned seeing Alan about every other day. Alan was a machine gun squad leader, and the two of them would swap news about Brownsville. Now for a couple of minutes of comments about Norman, here's Alan Willyerd.
It's quite an honor for me to come to Quantico and see where the elite trained and slept, and it's been a pleasure to be up here. But I'm reminded of the cost that was paid for me to be at this podium, and it was paid by your classmate and my friend Norman Lane. In 1967, I was in Travis Air Force Base trying to catch a mic flight over to Vietnam. And I go in and give them my paperwork, and you walk in, you get your paperwork, you get the plane, you go. They have nothing on me. I don't exist. So I stay in there for about 2.5 hours. And finally they say, well, take this flight to Okinawa. When you get there, we'll have it all figured out. Okay. So I go out the door, down the steps, and I turn left. And as I turn left, I walk from here to over there. And this big, black, shiny officer's car pulls into the curb. So I give it my best Sunday salute. move over. Office like a lot of room, so I move over. And as I get to the front bumper, the rear door is open. And there's more silver and gold in that car than I've seen since the Marine Corps birthday. And this guy steps out, and I see, Norman! E4, second lieutenant. Norman? I said, oh my Lord, it's kind of like at 1911. When you pull the trigger, you ain't getting that bullet back. When I said Norman, I couldn't catch it. It was happening. Norman walks over and he puts his arm around me and walks over to the side and he said, Alan, in front of these other officers, you need to call me Lieutenant Lane. I know. I'm 84, I'm 12, I know. Just an attitude. But anyway, we did go on to Vietnam, wound up in the same outfit, and of course I don't go to the rear to see Lieutenant Lane. Lieutenant Lane could come to front to visit with me, and we had many good visits, like we used to at Tabernacle, sitting cross-legged and just talk. And it was a wonderful experience for a while. Thank you, and Semper Fi.
On Saturday morning, June 13th, Alan Willyerd met our Maker. And there in heaven, in that special place where only the bravest may lie down, he found his friend and brother in arms, Norman Lane. I can hear Alan now. Norman! It was Alan who wrote in his post on Norman's virtual wall page, "You are with me every day." And now they are, and always will be. And they passed over together, and all the trumpets sounded for them on the other side. So long, my friend, and Godspeed.